beautiful people, welcome and welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Lincy P, and if you are new here, thank you so much for stopping by. And if you've been here before, hey girl, hey, nice to see you again. So today, y'all, I know you've been seeing it everywhere. Soft life on TikTok, soft life on Instagram, soft life on YouTube, and you guys asked for more girl chats. So yeah, I figured this would be a really good topic for us to talk about, just touching on how you can live a soft life regardless of what is in your wallet. Because right now, based off of the content that I'm seeing on TikTok and other social media platforms, is very much giving in alignment or in sync or in continuity with black girl luxury or just a luxury lifestyle, and I don't really think the two are 100% synonymous. We're seeing a lot of like luxury bags and beautiful trips and, you know, spa treatments and sitting on the beach sipping Mai Tais, shopping sprees, luxury apartments, and all of that is beautiful. I love that for the women who can afford to have that experience and are really showing us what is possible for us. But a lot of us are kind of in this in-between space, right? Like, we're not really struggling, but we're not living this super lavish life of luxury. And I just want to be a voice for other women like myself who are kind of in that in-between space, to let you know that you do not have to be excluded from living or creating a soft life for yourself. I do think that any woman can live a soft life regardless of her means. So I'm gonna give you guys 7 tips today on how you can make that happen. So if you're interested in hearing what tips I have, then let's get into it. So I just want to start off with what the definition of a soft life is. So a soft life is a life of ease, peace, comfort, and internal happiness. It does not require struggle of stress and distress. It consists of mutual relationships, clarity, and self-care. That is the definition of a soft life, and nowhere in there is it mentioned about your financial status or lack thereof. To me, those are all things that we all can achieve or aspire to or work towards regardless of where we are in life. So I just want to be clear, this is something that every single woman can achieve or make happen for themselves. Definition is very much giving a life of balance, a life of intention, a life of being true to yourself, you know, that internal happiness piece. That is what it's giving, and everybody can create that type of life. So here are some practical tips on how you can do that for yourself. So step 1 is to prioritize your rest. When you are running at a 50% battery, a 10% battery, anything less than 100% battery, you really don't even have the wherewithal or energy to create the life that you want, or to be able to fully enjoy the experiences and the relationships that you're taking part of, because you're operating not at your full capacity. Our body can only go so far, and if we really want to maximize this beautiful thing that we're all experiencing called life, we need this physical vessel to actually make that happen. So recharge. Make sure when you're feeling burnt out, make sure to take breaks. Make sure you're getting good night's sleep. And even if you're not sleeping, just take time sometimes to do nothing. We live in an age where hustle culture is rampant. And I know for myself, you know, a millennial, I'm like somewhere kind of in between. Sometimes it's like girl boss on the go, hustle, hustle, until my battery is drained, and then it's just like, ugh, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to work, I just want to be left alone. And those are just two polar extremes, where if you know, allow yourself to have goals, to work towards them, but not overextend yourself or be working in overdrive to make them happen, just taking actionable steps while still prioritizing your rest, you will get there. But if you're constantly doing this, like, I'm going 1000% and then I have nothing to give, it's gonna be a constant life of distress, a constant life of feeling burnt out, of having anxiety, and then feeling like you kind of have to take all this downtime to recharge. And even when you're in that downtime, mentally, you can't even rest because your mind is just so busy of all the things that you could be or should be doing. So you're not even really resting. Give yourself time to rest along the way. You can avoid getting to that state in the first place, and therefore just allowing life to naturally progress and for you to reach things in, I believe, God's timing and when things are right for you to reach them. But constantly not allowing your body rest or your mind rest, definitely something to avoid if you want to create a soft life. The second thing that you can do is check your mentality. So look, life is always going to be life, y'all. Things are going to happen. The unexpected is inevitable. You know, life is not going to always be soft, even though that's what we're talking about. I'm a realist. Like, let's be real. Life is going to hit you when you least expect it. You are going to face tragedies. You are going to have down times. Everything is not always going to be peachy keen. And if you are looking at these trends and thinking like, oh, their life is so fabulous, I wish my life can be like that, girl, those people have problems too. I promise you. They're just not going to post it on social media, but behind the camera, you have no idea what people are dealing with in real life. So A, don't put the pressure on yourself to have a picture perfect life, because no one does. And B, a soft life can really be dependent on how you navigate those times, right? So you can either be the glasses half empty type of woman or the glasses half full. One of them comes with a lot more stress, angst, and anxiety than the other. So just checking your mentality. When you enter those seasons of your life with a spirit of gratitude, because I promise you, as long as you're still breathing, you have something. You can find something, even if it's you know, it's a little bitty small. You can find something to be grateful for, something to give praise for. Someone's situation is always can be worse, okay? So if you could find those little nuggets and to just learn to focus on those and to remind yourself of those in those hard times, getting through them can feel a lot easier versus if you're constantly focused on the negative, constantly focused on the major stressors in your life, what you don't have, what you're not content with. To me, you're like prolonging getting through those seasons, or because you have now created this mental dread, and ain't nothing soft about that. So check your mentality and just making sure that you're constantly looking life, you know, being real. I'm not saying avoid the problems in your life, but just know that it's the seasons. Problems come and they go. And then there'll be new problems that come and they go. But the point is they go. So just find a way to maintain through it without hyper focusing on your issues. And for me, tip number 3 is a very huge part in how I do exactly what I just said in tip number 2, which is to check my mentality. I operate in faith, and if you want to live a soft life, I'm a Christian, so I believe you should operate in faith as well. When you're operating in faith, you bring your problems to the Lord and you leave them there, okay? Leave them at his feet, sis. It is not meant for you to be carrying every single burden alone. He didn't want that. A, that's why God gave us community, and B, that's why we have direct access through prayer and fasting to God. Like, you can take whatever burden you're carrying it and take it to your Father. He knows everything. Like, he knows the solutions. He knows what you need to learn in this season. He knows exactly that love and grace that you need to feel from him. Whatever you need for your tank to be filled again, I promise you can get it from that source. The Lord says that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. To me, that is just such a comforting scripture to know that I can go in prayer and leave feeling lighter than I came. Like, I have never been in a season where I was really dealing with something heavy, or really had my heart broken, or really felt lost or couldn't find a way. And there was never a time where I just laid it all out before the Lord. I mean, crying, ugly crying, whatever way I got to do it, child. Lay it all out before the Lord, that I don't walk away feeling refreshed, renewed, comforted, loved. It's never happened. Every time I really lay my heart out before my Father, he fills me back up again. So I operate in faith. And oftentimes this is not just a one-time thing. There are times in my life that I surrender the same problem to God 4, 5, 6 times. The enemy will come in and, you know, plant a seed of anxiety, or plant a seed of self-doubt, or plant a seed of, you know, feeling like, oh, this is never gonna happen for me. And when I find myself thinking in that way, I go back and be like, okay, God, I need your help again. I really need to surrender this at your feet again. And it's never like he turned me away. It's never like he's like, no, you got it now. You took it back. You handle it. He would never do that. So just operate in faith, and as many times as you have to surrender that problem so that you can have internal peace, do that. And when you know that the creator of the universe has your back, it's just is a different type of energy, child. Like, there's nothing that is too big or too small to take to him, and I'm so grateful for that. So that is a major key in how I personally operate and have a soft life. And with that comes with learning what you can and cannot control, right? So that, like I said, God is the author of our story. There's gonna be stuff that you just cannot control. Obstacles you cannot go around. You have to go through them, and there ain't nothing you could do about it. Surrender those to him. But the stuff that you can control, make a plan and move on. Like, don't hyperfixate on the negativity or the problems that you have in your life. You in debt? That's cool, sis. Not ideal. Make a plan to get out of debt and move on. You just went through a major breakup. I know your heart is hurting. Find some community, make a plan to reinvest and pour back into yourself and move on. So many things that are in your control that sometimes we just let get the best of us. Like, we can make choices. Like, you have agency over your life. So make the choices that best suit you. Execute those plans, but what you cannot control, just let it go. Obsessing over it, fixating on it, isn't gonna make it go away. It's not gonna make it be eliminated from your life anytime sooner. So why put that type of extra mental stress on yourself? Just let it go and focus on the stuff that you can control. Tip number 4 is to set boundaries and stick to them. If I can find this TikTok, I'm gonna go ahead and insert it. So if it's playing, we'll just go ahead and watch it together. I really feel like boundaries are so often focused on other people's actions, and in this particular TikTok, I really like her take on it because it is definitely a way to create a soft life, because the way that she explains it, nobody can cross your boundaries. You cannot cross my boundaries if they are something that I am in control of. So create your boundaries and stick to them. Like she said, if you don't want someone to talk to you some type of way, the boundary really isn't, please don't talk to me that way. Like she said, that is a request. The boundary is, I don't remain in conversations with people who talk to me that way. So I'm going to exit the chat, and if you can find a way to speak to me in a respectful manner, we can continue this conversation. I don't remain in relationships where I'm not valued. So if you don't value me as a person, I'm gonna leave. I don't remain in toxic work environments that cause me stress, cause me to feel overworked and burnt out. So I'm gonna pre-screen this position, and if it seems like that's what it's gonna come with, I will find another job. I don't allow, people to cast their own projections or problems or insecurities onto me. It's just not a relationship that I have to tolerate. When you start to frame your boundaries in that manner, it is impossible for people to cross them. And if people can't cross them, you have peace. And the beautiful part of it is that's peace that you can create. It's something that you can control. It's the choices that you make in terms of what you will and will not entertain. And if you don't entertain the nonsense, it can't come intrude on this soft life that we're creating for ourselves, sis. So to honor your boundaries, I promise you will create a soft life. And tip number 5 is to create time to move and play and create, okay? It is so important that we find that for ourselves, giving ourselves opportunities to just enjoy life, And I'm trying to actually navigate that lately, because as you guys know, like, content creating used to be my create and play. But as you become, more involved in content creating and you learn more and you have a desire for this to be your full-time job, it has become work now. Don't get me wrong, I still enjoy it, but I now have to find some other hobby or some other way to fulfill that creative part of me that is not connected to making money in any shape or form. Because When your passion is solely tied to how much money you can potentially make, and like I said, don't get me wrong, I love content creating, and your girl ain't making too much of nothing right now, so but I do have the desire, so I treat it now. There's been a mental shift of, this is no longer play for me, this is work. I have to show up. So I'm trying to find another hobby or another way to create play in my life where it can just be my thing, whether that's taking music lessons, learning how to sew, learning another language. Find something that you enjoy that is solely just for you, just for your growth, your entertainment, something that you enjoy, and that's it. And then movement, you know, taking care of yourself, moving your body, getting around, getting to the gym, taking a yoga class, taking a walk. Things that can just help you unplug and just do things that are solely just for you. Whatever it is, just create time to really just enjoy life outside of just constantly hustling or trying to make something happen for you. Tip number 6, to create a soft life, ask for help when needed. Just because you can do something by yourself doesn't mean you should or have to do something by yourself. If help is available and you make yourself ready to receive, you will create so much more relief of labor and just allow yourself to be taken care of, assisted, nurtured by other people. You do not have to be that strong black woman, super independent all the time, or if you're not black, because I have a diverse audience, but you don't have to be that strong woman. I don't need nobody to help me. I can get it on my own. You can, but it would be easier if you allowed someone else to help you. It doesn't have to be done all on your own. Utilize the resources that are available to you. Tap into your community. Allow the people who love you to show up for you so that you're not constantly exhausting yourself, burning yourself out, wearing down your body, running all over the place trying to be superwoman and doing everything for not only yourself, but chances are for everyone else also. No. Remember that thing about mutual relationships? Use those. Ask for the help and then put yourself in an open, heart posture to receive it, which I guess is what a lot of women talk about when they say tapping into their feminine energy, because I know for sure, growing up in a Caribbean household, you're taught to hold down your own. Okay, I ain't never seen my mama ask for nobody for help. Everything she had, I mean, she got help, but I've never seen her verbally ask anyone for help. And I kind of just adopted that the same way. I navigated myself, but allowing yourself to be vulnerable enough to say, hey, either I can't figure this out, or you know what, this is just something I really don't want to do. I would really appreciate it if you could do it for me. And allowing that person to show up for you, top tier. And my final tip number 7, is to invest in things that make your life easier or bring you peace or help you get to a better version of yourself. So you can invest in multiple ways. You can invest in your financial resources if you have them and you can afford to do so, or you can invest in time and relationships that help kind of ease your life. Yeah, don't be afraid to outsource or delegate things if what you're doing don't bring you joy. So I just have a couple of examples of how I have practiced this in my life and how I had to overcome just feeling like I have to be the one, again, doing everything, whether or not it brings me peace, fulfills me, or tires me. So I remember the very first time that I did this, and this was a couple of years ago. I was super overwhelmed with keeping up with my house. This was before we moved into this place. We were still living in Champaign at the time, and I had a newborn, and I wanted my house to be spring cleaned. Like, I just wanted a good, solid, deep clean. And growing up, my parents made us do it. If my siblings are watching, please comment down below. They will attest. We spring cleaned that house from top to bottom. I'm talking washing baseboards, window seals, everything. So that is what I was accustomed to. It felt like it was my responsibility. Like I was failing as a woman of my house if I wasn't scrubbing baseboards, but I didn't want to do it. I don't like scrubbing baseboards. I don't like washing walls. I don't like, you know, cleaning out window tracks. It's not fun. I don't find calm, peace, or enjoyment in that, and I wanted to hire a cleaning service. And I remember telling Tay, hey babe, you know, I really want to hire a cleaning service. And at that time, he was like, for what? This is stuff that we can do ourselves. And I was like, yeah, we can, but I don't want to do it. So he agreed. We hired the cleaning service, and I remember that first time hiring a cleaning service like it was yesterday. It was, at that time, I think it cost me $100 for them to come deep clean my apartment and do all the things that I needed them to do. And it was just so nice. I remember we left for church that Sunday morning because she came on a Sunday. We went out for brunch, you know, took Jenny to breakfast and everything, and we came back home and my apartment was spotless. I mean, every window sill clean, every baseboard washed, every scuff on the scuff on the wall removed, and it just felt so serene to be able to say, you know what, I budgeted for this. I really don't want to do this task, but I want my environment to be refreshed and to just be able to outsource that to somebody else. And I had such immense guilt at first of paying someone to come in and clean my home that I almost didn't do it. But that feeling, and Tay, it's funny how men be like, why? And then when you do it, they be like, oh yeah, that was a good idea. It was a great idea. But anyway, we came home and he was like, oh yeah, that was $100 well spent. Because the way that we felt when we came into our home was just so serene. And I could have imagined what my attitude would have been had I gotten the same result putting in all that work myself. I would have had the same result, right? Like my house or my apartment would have been a good deep clean. It would have been refreshed, but I would have been burnt out. I was able to spend the rest of the day with my family. I didn't have to rush from church service to come and do this. I wasn't emotionally burnt out or physically burnt out. It was just a really good experience. Now, I can't afford to have someone clean my house every week as much as I would really like that, but I can budget and put money aside just to be able to treat myself to that feeling 2 to 3 times a year, right? I'm not saying invest outside of your means to have a lifestyle that you can't keep up with, but if you know that you enjoy certain things, you know, be intentional about putting some money aside so that you can have those experiences. And right now, you know, investing in things that make me better. So going to therapy, that's something I've been doing now going on 2 years, and it has dramatically helped with, I think, my personal development and my mental health. I understand everyone doesn't have access to therapy. I'm very blessed to have a job where it is covered by insurance and all of that, but you can find community even if you don't have access to therapy. Go to someone you trust. Go to a friend, a family member, an elder, a mentor, somewhere where you can go and relieve your burden and really just be heard, I think is really important. And if you surround yourself with the right community, you can get that without spending a dime. Then more recently, I have been investing in my health. I got a gym membership at a gym that is way more than I've ever spent at a gym membership, but I've never been more consistent because my membership removes all the obstacles. That gym offers classes because I don't really like having to go to the gym and figuring out what I want to do. I just like to be instructed. It has personal training. It has a daycare so that I can bring my child with me and I'm not glued or tied to, you know, having to find a sitter or having to go around hours or feeling guilty because I'm gone so long, and by the time I get home I haven't spent any time with her. So I can take her with me to the gym and I still get to meet my goals, but again, it was an intentional investment. So that is something that, you know, ways that you can invest either time and or resource. Identify your pain points and then put a plan and the money aside if you have it to address them. Some things that don't cost anything that I've been doing is yoga, taking walks, sitting outside my balcony and just journaling and investing that time, really investing in my prayer life, things like that. And the last way that I invest in the things that bring me joy is to have a beauty routine. I have to have it. And this, again, depending on what your coin is looking like, is either something that you can invest the time in doing yourself, something that you can pay other people to do if you have the budget to do so. I highly do recommend, though, that I think every woman should have a season where she learns to do all the things herself in case the resources one day are not there or life changes, that you don't have to sacrifice your upkeep. So learn how to do a really cute hairstyle that you have mastered and do that on your own. You know, buy a little Amazon, $20, $30 Amazon gel kit and just keep your nails done. You know, take some time every week to pamper yourself. Learn how to do a very quick, simple makeup. I know everyone isn't full glam, you know, thank you ma'am, as I am. Some women just really like to keep it natural. That's cool. Just find your lane. Learn how to do those small little services on yourself in a way that fits you, fits your features, you know, makes you look polished and makes you feel good. Like just having a beauty routine and keeping myself up and pampering myself in that way just makes me feel good. Having a consistent routine so that I'm constantly looking and feeling my best is definitely a way to practice self-care, which is in the definition of a soft life, and for me to really make time for myself and spend time with myself and just invest that time because you deserve it. And I guess the last thing, which I kind of already touched on with doing things that make your life easier, but also sometimes it's okay to treat yourself. Like, it's okay to spend money on yourself. You work hard for it, you should enjoy it. With balance, right? We want to have a balanced life. We don't want to create extra stress going above and beyond our means, and now we're in debt and stressed out. We don't want to do that, but we do want to be able to enjoy the fruits of our labor. So if you want that bag and you work hard, you save your money for it, buy the bag. If you want to be able to take a trip because you need some time to unplug, again, and you can afford to do so, take a trip. If you can't afford to take a trip, but you can afford to take a solo date, you know, to get out of your house and not be surrounded by noise, which I have been doing a little bit of that lately. So if you guys want some vlogs on that, let me know. But especially for moms, like sometimes you don't want to be needed by nobody, not your man, not your kids, not that you don't love them, but to be needed by people all the time. Sometimes you just need time for just you, just to be a little selfish. So even if you can't afford to, you know, take a full-on vacation away from your family, book a night at a hotel, one night, just so that you can be by yourself, or take yourself out just a couple hours out the house and take yourself on a solo lunch so that you can really spend that one-on-one time with yourself. Spoil yourself. You work really hard. We all deserve to enjoy luxuries in life, whether big or small, and as long as you are living within your means, you should absolutely not feel guilty about that and really be able to enjoy your life. You only get one, sis. Make sure you live it. So that's pretty much all that I have in terms of tips on how to enjoy or create a soft life for yourself. Let me know down in the comments if I missed anything that you do to create a soft life. I'd love to hear, how are you putting this into practice and prioritizing yourself and creating a life that you want to live? I definitely love to talk about it down in the comments. And let me know what you guys think of the tips that I offered. Are any of them things that you're going to implement or things that you're already doing? I'd love to hear it. So let's go ahead and chat down in the comments, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you really found this video helpful. I hope it was. I really hope you were able to take something away. And until next time, I will see you beautiful people in the next one. Smooches.